It's incredible how something as simple as cookies can unravel deeper emotions within a relationship. In today's story, we explore the tension that builds between a couple over a seemingly trivial moment, yet it exposes unspoken frustrations and boundaries being crossed. When does a small disagreement become a breaking point, and how do we navigate respect in even the smallest of interactions? This one's a tale about much more than cookies.
Breaking up with boyfriend over cookies. I'm 22 female, my boyfriend is 22 male, and we've been together for nearly 2 years, living together for 7 months. Today, I decided to make some cookies as I've been craving them for a while and wanted to do something nice for us. I made choc chip cookies and lavender chai cookies. For the lavender chai cookies, I picked the lavender myself and plucked each individual petal before crushing and fast dehydrating in the oven. I was really proud of myself as it was my own experimental recipe that came out perfect and was exactly how I wanted them to be. I was so excited to share them with my boyfriend, and he ate a ridiculous amount of cookies. He has been on a diet for the past year, not overly strict but restricted enough that he's lost about 10 kilograms. I started to cut again about a month ago too. The reason I mention this is because his dieting is a huge part to why he wanted to throw away my cookies. After he ate the 8th cookie, he began asking me to bin them so he would stop eating them. I told him no and that I would hide them. Eventually I just lied and said I'd bin them so that he'd shut up. But he didn't shut up. He kept asking me again for reassurance that I'd definitely bin them at the end of the night because it's ruining his diet, and I lost my patience because this is honestly the 10th time he's asked me. Getting super upset as I really like the cookies, so I told him again that I'll just hide them. He started telling me to do him this favor and how it's just cookies. He also started to bin them as I'm on a diet too, but I honestly have no issue with self-control around food, so it just felt manipulative and weird. Of course, they're just cookies. I wanted to give them to his mum. I told him this and he just kept asking me again and again until I yelled at him. I told him there's no difference between me binning them and hiding them, and he just this favor and to please bin them. Being reasonable and wasn't listening to what I was saying, so I stormed off downstairs. He started laughing at me, calling me a sook and a baby because I was upset over some cookies. I completely lost it and went back upstairs, chucked both boxes of cookies I made in the sink, and ran water all over them. He told me how which set me off more, so I started packing some of my stuff.
Traveling with friends can either bring you closer or reveal sides of people you never expected. In today's story, what was supposed to be an exciting trip to Japan turned into a friendship nightmare as clashing personalities and endless complaints took over what should have been a memorable experience. When cultural differences, expectations and frustrations collide, how do you navigate a friendship that's unraveling before your eyes? Let's dive into this journey of a trip gone wrong.
My friendship blew up on a trip to Japan. Finding out my friend of 5 years was an absolute AH when taking her on her first trip to Japan 1 year after I moved back from there. What did she do?
Wouldn't add to the itinerary at all, but complained every single day when we got there.
I took her to popular stations in Tokyo since it was her first time and we had 7 days. But she wanted to go to the beaches and rise at 5 a.m. and stay out till 2 a.m. like she does in Mexico.
Compared everything to Mexico. Even wanting to tip a restaurant owner in USD because I do it in Mexico.
Wanted to tip everyone and argued the whole time when I told her don't do it. It's rude. And when I got my Japanese friend to educate her on how to give proper thanks. She finds one person online who said it's not required but appreciated and wouldn't stop pressing me about how it's so good to tip.
She would ask me how my legs were doing and I'd answer honestly, like, yeah, they hurt. And she later mocked and berated me, saying it made her feel bad. I was complaining about my legs.
I never said they hurt out of my own accord, nor did I stop what we were doing or ask for breaks. If she asked, I said yeah, but she'd rather I'd lie.
I asked if she was thirsty while we waited for open hours, and she said no. So I went to find me a coffee shop to grab one real quick. She goes, I don't even want to go there. You should have taken me to a real cafe. Girl, I'm just grabbing me a drink since you said no.
Doesn't believe in itineraries yet hated everywhere I took her, so got a friend back home to look up places for her.
She had 6 months to look up anything to add, but she doesn't believe in itineraries. Got mad I didn't order for her when she didn't ask me to help.
Said if we were in Mexico, I would have ordered for you. All she said was she was thinking about getting a bun today. She didn't end up ordering it herself because she didn't want to point to it and ask the cashier. I was standing 10 steps away from her. There was no one in line and we were the only ones in the store. Not sure why she didn't even attempt to order a bun in the case or ask me to help her. Started saying she should have gone on this trip with friend A or friend B to my face.
Said she didn't like touristy areas, aka Shibuya, Asakusa, Harajuku, and wanted to go to rural areas while she doesn't even speak Japanese, and was relying on me to quite literally hold her hand for everything.
She's older than me, but both late 20s.
Said she was going to leave the trip early if we spent a day with my sister at our Japanese friend's house.
She wouldn't eat sushi because they have worms in them. Wouldn't go to karaoke because they were listening. Said I made her cry, which she's only ever done at her dad's funeral. Wow. Called dried squid a gag gift she can get her family. Accused me of cutting her luggage and wouldn't take out yen from the ATM, so I did and she paid me back.
Tried to tell me data works fine compared to our pocket Wi-Fi, and that we can just leave the Wi-Fi at the hotel when I asked her to hold it for us.
I lived in Japan and will not go anywhere without a pocket Wi-Fi. This isn't even half of it. A whole 7-day nightmare. For the first time in my life, I actually slept through an entire 9-hour plane ride on the way back. ETA. I totally forgot some of the more messed up things like asking, do you have an eating disorder? Or telling me she was going to smack my hand because I had it near my nose as I was choking on so much secondhand smoke my throat was getting raspy. And trying to convince me it was my fault that I was getting inappropriate stuff happening to me. For example, a man chased me down the streets of Akabukuro wanting to go to a hotel, but it's my fault because I was standing alone at the station. ETA 2, anyone want to guess the profession she's pursuing?
Sometimes the people meant to love us the most are the ones who hurt us the deepest. In today's story, we witness the powerful journey of someone finally breaking free from years of pain and control. With just days left until they leave behind a toxic household, they reflect on the past and prepare for a future filled with hope, love, and the chance to heal. It's a story of resilience, courage, and the strength to take that final step toward a better life.
Today, my mom came home from a trip overseas and immediately got angry at me. Saturday, I'm leaving forever. My mother is a narcissist with anger management issues. I wholeheartedly believe the only reason she's still married to my dad is because I live at home. I have hated every second of growing up here, every outburst she had, every excuse she made to get mad and blame me. I can count on one hand every time she said she loves me or is proud of me combined. She abused me physically until I was 17 and finally found the guts to stand up to her. But her verbal assaults just keep going. My dad just ignores it, but there's not much he can do anyways if he wanted to. He's stuck in a wheelchair. That finally ends Saturday. 4 years ago, I met a wonderful couple online. They're only a couple of years older than me, but they're more like parents than mine could ever be. They talk to me, teach me, tell me they love me, and that they're proud of my accomplishments. They ground me through every anxiety attack and help me with every problem I have. They don't treat me like I'm weird or different and don't brush off my problems. I've visited them 5 times since I met them, and now I'm finally in a place where I can move in with them. They're going to fly up to see me and help me get me and my stuff down to our new apartment together. Today my parents came home from a trip, and my mother screamed at me for 15 minutes about how I left the rice and 2 pans out on the stove. The stove was not on. The rice was sealed. I had stayed up until 2 last night scrubbing the whole fucking kitchen for her, and the rice and pots were from my lunch, which I barely had time to throw together with everything else I have going on. I just stayed quiet and walked away when it seemed like she was done, and I heard her slamming doors before going to bed. 5 more days. I just have to last 5 more days here, and then I can run away. I can live the life I always wanted to without her, and I can heal. I can't wait to block her number. She can rot knowing none of her sons love her anymore, and it's her own damn fault. Edit. Since everyone seems concerned for my safety about my best friends, we met by chance in a random server on Discord that crashed and burned a week after we met. They were there for me through the pandemic when I was stuck at home with my parents and currently have 3 roommates, but are moving for rent reasons. They've been around for major life events like my graduating college, and I've been around for some of theirs, like his mother nearly dying. I've met their families, Both of their families suck about as much as mine does. We all come from broken homes and we help each other out. I left a lot out of the original message because to include every reason I trust them would make it pages and pages long. But I'm not stupid. I'm not some teenager looking for trouble. They're my best friends. Edit 2, I'm 23, not some kid running away from home.